Hi everyone, I'm Gemma. I'm a psychologist and I'm the founder of Active Mindfulness. So, welcome to this short free taster of mindfulness for well-being. So let's start by just thinking about what mindfulness is. So quite often people come for the first time with lots of thoughts around mindfulness and what it might be, and some of them are right, and others can just be myths that it can be helpful for us to bust straight away. So mindfulness is really, there's lots of definitions, but an accepted one is that it's awareness that emerges for us when we learn how to pay attention to the present deliberately, on purpose, and without judgment of what we find there. So that's it, really. Quite often people remember that first bit, that it's about the awareness that emerges when we pay attention in the present. But also, there's that second bit, which is really important, which is about the way that we pay attention, which is deliberately, on purpose, and without judgment of what we find there. So it can be very easy to pay attention when we're enjoying something, but it can be difficult or bring up difficult things when what we find there might be not so pleasant. But mindfulness is a way of really just noticing actually what is here right now, and that then gives us the opportunity to think about, okay, if this is true, how do I move forward from here? Where do I go from here? What's my next right move from here? So that's a little bit about what it is. So it's also, as it says here on the slides, it's the ability to watch, to observe, to notice our thoughts, our feelings, our physical or emotional sensations, to watch them come and go without feeling the need to latch on. So quite often we feel the need to pull happy or pleasant feelings towards us and hold on to them, and the urge to push away more difficult thoughts. This isn't about that. This is about just noticing those urges, noticing what we normally do with different thoughts, different emotions, so that we can understand our automatic reactions and start to think about what we want to take forward with us. So it is the opposite of autopilot. So autopilot being that experience you may have had where maybe you've driven all the way home from work across three roundabouts and five traffic lights, but you don't remember a single thing. And it's not that you weren't there, it's just your mind was somewhere else. Your mind was thinking about the day or problems or redoing certain conversations. So it was there but not there. And that's autopilot, and we all do it. But this is an opportunity just to step out of autopilot for a while so that we can really understand the thoughts and the feelings that might be influencing us. So I've got a brief video that I would really like to share with you now.
Clearly, somebody in this room murdered Lord Smythe, who, at precisely 3:34 this afternoon, was brutally bludgeoned to death with a blunt instrument. I want each of you to tell me your whereabouts at precisely the time that this dastardly deed took place.
I was polishing the brass in the master bedroom.
I was buttering his lordship's scones below stairs, sir.
Why, I was planting my petunias in the potting shed.
Constable, arrest Lady Smythe.
But how did you know?
Madam, as any horticulturist will tell you, one does not plant petunias until May is out. Take her away.
Sorry, madam.
It's just a matter of observation. The real question is, how observant were you?
Action.
Clearly, somebody in this room murdered Lord Smythe, who, at precisely 3:34 this afternoon, was brutally bludgeoned to death with a blunt instrument. I want each of you to tell me your whereabouts at precisely the time that this dastardly deed took place.
I was polishing the brass in the master bedroom.
I was buttering his lordship's scones below stairs, sir.
Why, I was planting my petunias in the potting shed.
Constable, arrest Lady Smythe.
So I wonder, did you get them all? Did you get any of them? How did you do? So this is a really good video. This was actually designed as a road safety video. But I think what it does is it really shows how much of life we miss. And this isn't just for the video. So this is actually borne out through psychological studies that actually we notice what we're looking for. And there are many, many things that we don't notice. So we're paying attention to certain bits of life, but not others. So mindfulness can really help us to notice what we're paying attention to notice what we're not paying attention to, and to start making some better choices based on that. So, some myths about mindfulness. We started to talk about what it is, but let's talk about what it isn't. So, mindfulness, quite often people come with the idea that there is a certain way that you ought to be, that you ought to be sat and you ought to be doing things. So often people have this impression that they're going to be sat kind of like this, still on the floor, and that that's what it's about. And that is a mindfulness position. It might be that you use that, but it's not all of what mindfulness is. It's a particular form of meditation. So if you think about that original definition, the awareness that emerges for us when we learn to pay attention to the present deliberately on purpose without judgment, doesn't say you have to be sat still. It doesn't say you have to be in a certain posture. And it's something we can use in lots of different ways to help us become more present, to help us become more aware, and to help us make better choices. And we will go through a lot more of that. There's a longer course, longer workshop, 2-hour workshop that you can join if you'd like to, where we start to use this both seated and in movement. So the idea that it's religious, so this comes up a lot because of the link between meditation and Buddhism and lots of other meditation, lots of other religions as well. But the kind of mindfulness that we're talking about here, it really doesn't have a doctrine. So it's much more something that can be applied to people of lots of different faiths, of lots of different beliefs. And there's no need for you to buy into anything in particular. There's also no need for you to empty your mind. So quite often people think, oh, I've got to come and have this empty, still mind. But actually, that's not really possible. And the most mindful of people have a mind that is talking to them pretty much all the time. It's just the more mindful you become, the more aware of it you become. So the more you get to kind of stand back and observe the chatter of your mind and choose what to latch onto and what not to latch onto. So you won't empty your mind. You will have lots of thoughts, but you'll become much more aware of them and how they're influencing you physically and emotionally. So therefore, you can meditate even if your mind is busy. In fact, quite often with mindfulness, we start just becoming aware of something like the breath or your feet on the floor. And as your mind wanders and does its own thing, you just become aware of, I was on the breath, I was on my feet, and actually now my mind's kind of on tomorrow. It's on that conversation I've got to have. It's on EastEnders, it's on food tonight, it's on all kinds of things. But actually, I think in this moment, that's not what's right for me. And I'm going to choose to come back to the present, back to the breath, back to your feet on the floor, whatever it is. That's mindfulness. It's the noticing, the awareness, and the choice to guide it back if you would like to, if that's what's right for you at any particular moment. So let's do a very brief exercise about mindfulness. So I'm going to invite you just to close your eyes now. And I'm just going to walk you through a particular scenario. So you've woken up one day and feeling a little bit low, a little bit anxious. Let's see if you can tune in and just notice what's coming up for you, what's going on in your thoughts, your emotions, in your body. even though you're not feeling great, eventually you get up and you go out. And as you're walking down the street, not too far from your house, you see someone you know fairly well. And you smile. They're on the other side of the road, but you smile and wave. They just put their head down and walk on by. If you take a moment just to see what you notice, what thoughts, what emotions, what's going on in your body, any urges to respond in a particular way. And you carry on and you go to the shops and you get the things that you need. Then on your way home, a bike comes up behind you and it comes pretty close to your body, a bit closer than you would have liked. What's going on for you? What's going on in your thoughts, your emotions, your body? Any urges to act in a particular way? And eventually you get yourself back home, put your keys in the door, or you try to put your keys in the door, and actually you drop them on the floor, onto your foot. And you go and you pick them up, and then you drop them again, trying to fumble to get the right key in the door. What's going on for you now? What's going on in your thoughts, in your body, emotions, any urges? And finally, you make it home. And you abandon the shopping and you go and sit down. You sink into the chair. Glad to be home. What's going on for you now? What's happening in your thoughts, your emotions, physical body, any urges? In a moment, just coming back from the visualization, just becoming aware of the sounds around you, the feeling of your body being supported by the chair. And if your eyes were closed as you open them, just becoming aware of the light, the color, shadows. So take a moment on your own just to jot down, just to notice anything that came up for you. It could be lots of different things came up there. See if you can notice if any of the thoughts or feelings or urges would have held you back in the next few hours, would have made things difficult for you in the coming few hours. And those are the things that mindfulness can support you with and give you more of a choice on how to react. So let's get started then with a mindfulness practice. So I'm going to take you through a very brief body scan practice. So body scans are normally a fair bit longer than this, but we're going to just have a little bit of a taster of one, just get started. Okay, so if you want to, you can lay down or you can remain seated. And I'm going to invite you just to get yourself comfortable. If you're laying down, then a suggestion might be on your back with your arms alongside the body and your palms face up to the ceiling. If you're seated, then mindfulness is an invitation to fall awake rather than asleep. So you might want to have your spine straight or self-supporting in a posture that reflects both being here, being present, being calm in your body, but also being awake. So when you're ready, I want you to just see if you can notice your body resting, laying here, seated. Perhaps noticing the points of contact between you and the chair or the bed. Perhaps noticing the breeze, the cool movement of air. Perhaps noticing the feeling of clothes on your skin. And when you're ready, let's play with this with an idea. An idea that when we breathe, we could breathe right down into different areas of our body, using the breath as a vehicle to carry our awareness. So we're moving our awareness, our consciousness to those areas. So on and out, on and in breath when you're ready, just seeing what it's like to imagine your awareness moving all the way down your body, down your legs, and into your feet. Seeing what you can notice here. Sense of cool, warmth, feeling of a sock on your foot, tingling, numbness, or even just a blank if that's what you find here. Just playing with this idea that we can move our awareness to certain parts of our body. And then when you're ready, just letting go here and letting your awareness move up your legs to cover your lower leg, your shin, your calf, your knee, and the upper part of your leg. Just noticing anything that there is to be noticed here. Of course, the mind being human, it might take you far away from being with the body. It might take you into thoughts, judgment. What on earth are we doing? Thoughts about tomorrow, thoughts about today, feeling of not having enough time. It's okay. It's not a sign that you're doing anything wrong. It's just a sign that the mind is a busy place. And it's an opportunity for you just to notice where the mind has gone. Gently guide it back. And if you have to guide it back lots of times, that's okay. When you're ready, letting go here also and taking your attention up your body to your chest, your stomach, and the whole of your back. Perhaps noticing the movement as your tummy rises and falls as you breathe. And when you're ready, letting go here also, moving your attention to the tips of your fingers, to the length of your fingers, to your palms and the back of your hands, to your wrists, to your forearms, your upper arms and your shoulders, till you're holding this whole area in awareness. Noticing whatever there is to be noticed right now, including a blank if that's what you notice here, a blank being just as much an experience as anything else. And moving your attention up your body to your head, to your jaw, to your chin, to your cheeks, your nose, your forehead, and the whole of your skull. And each time you breathe in, see if you can feel or imagine what it'd be like if every breath came into your head, refreshing, and touching your face from inside before letting the breath go in an out breath. And seeing how we've moved through the body, honing in on different areas with our awareness. An awareness that I now invite you just to hold the whole body from toe to head, noticing whatever there is to be noticed. And when you're ready, you're going to come back to the world around us, becoming aware of the sounds from inside your room, outside. As you open your eyes, the light and shadow, taking some time to take in the colours, especially if your eyes have been closed. And taking care of your body if you need to move, stretch, bounce around, doing whatever you need. As we just come back to the room around us. So meditations can be a chance to really learn and explore and experience what it's like to pay attention to the present. And of course, the mind might go off all sorts of places. And within the workshops, within mindfulness, longer practices, afterwards we get a chance to explore together what's going on for you, what's happened, what you've noticed, and that can just help you to understand a little bit more. And that gives you more of a chance to choose how you want to respond. So, to build on today, see if you can make a start with something small. So, mindfulness can be very small. It can be things that you're already doing. It doesn't have to be that you take lots of time out for meditation practices. You can start just by becoming aware of the things you're already doing. So, brushing your teeth is a really good one. What this would involve is just tuning into the senses. So you start brushing your teeth, become aware of the feeling of the brush, become aware of the texture, of the taste of the toothpaste, of the sound, of the humidity of the bathroom. Just becoming aware of all of these things. And of course, your mind might wander, might go on to today, things you've got to do, or the day that you've had. In fact, when I first started this, I would remember as I was putting the toothpaste on my brush that this was what I was going to do. Somehow, between putting it on my brush and it hitting my mouth, my mind got distracted. I forgot. Many, many times it wandered off. That's okay. it's a part of learning how to be in the present, is that it's going to take time and it's going to take practice. And there are some things to do to help you. So, for instance, with the brushing your teeth, you could try using your non-dominant hand because it forces you to pay a bit more attention. It's not quite so automatic. So, things like that can really help. So, you could also follow Active Mindfulness to get more tips. So, I'm on Facebook under Active Mindfulness, on Instagram under Gemma_Active Mindfulness, and YouTube as Active Mindfulness Psychology. So the YouTube actually has a whole library really of meditations and informational videos, as well as shorts that are a little bit more entertaining that you can have a look at for free. So do access. What you can also do is you could join a workshop. So two that we've got coming up are an introduction to mindful eating. So bringing mindfulness to food. Who would have known you could be mindful by eating? But this can really help you enjoy food more, be a part of your food. It's used a lot to help people make better choices. That might be something you're interested in. You could also think about our Introduction to Mindfulness for Wellbeing workshop, which is a 2-hour workshop. The next one being on September the 20th. So you could do any of those things. So please do get in touch. You will find all the details for the workshops on the website www.activemindfulness.org.uk. We have online workshops, and that's www.activemindfulness.org.uk/online-workshops, where you can find all the details of those. We also do some workshops face to face in person. You can find those at the moment. They're in High Wycombe and Winchester. We would like to add some more venues, so hopefully they will be in your area soon. www.activemindfulness.org.uk/events to find out more about those, or you can contact me by emailing gemma@activemindfulness.org.uk. So if you go on the website, what you'll find is there are two categories of workshops. The first one is Wellbeing for Life. So this is everything you were never taught at school, and this uses an awful lot more psychology. So active mindfulness is not just about mindfulness, it's about bringing in evidence-based psychology. So there are workshops on things like stress and burnout, imposter syndrome, using mindfulness for meditation haters, all kinds of different things that you were never taught at school. And then the other category is around mindfulness for sports, performance enhancement, and enjoyment. So within that, there are two categories. There's one for people who are regular in sport and want to improve their performance through understanding their mind a little bit more, and also exercise haters to takers, which is really designed for people who find that there are a lot of psychological or thought-based blocks getting in the way of getting moving a bit more. So do look up those.